This is Turd Flinging Monkey for TFM News. I'm going to be responding to two articles. The first one is from The Independent, and it's called Inside the World of Men Who've Sworn Never to Sleep with Women Again. Men Going Their Own Way Believe Men Are Always Victims in Relationships, by Kashmira Gander, September 27th, 2016. And the second article appears in The Head of Household, called Attention MGTOW, dated September 24th, 2016, by Rodney Hand. Now, I'm not sure why, but it seems like it's MGTOW's time to be in the news again. There's this article, there's the other article I'm going to be talking about, and I even saw a video today from No Holds Barred responding to a YouTuber talking about MGTOW, trying to lump it into feminists. So now the anti-feminists coming after MGTOW, who knows why? I have my suspicions, but I'll save those until I have more evidence. Alright, starting with the Independent article, towards the beginning it reads, quote, "The first rule, abandoning all romantic relationships with women. On Reddit alone, some 15,000 readers are subscribed to the MGTOW page, which declares it is for men going their own way by forging our own identities and paths to self-defined success, cutting through collective ideas of what a man is. Other websites include MGTOW.com and are also dedicated to what they see as each man's fight for sovereignty of himself. And despite their hatred for women, homosexuality isn't accepted either." Alright, let me just stop there. Let's just point out some pretty glaring issues. Now, I don't expect Kashmira, a lowly reporter with The Independent, to understand the breadth of the MGTOW community, but she calls out Reddit and MGTOW.com. No mention of the YouTube MGTOW community. And the reason why this is significant is she calls out Reddit because of their whopping 15,000 readers. Barbarossa has over 25,000 subscribers. And of course, Sandman has over 60,000 subscribers. And yet this article only calls out the Reddit community with their 15,000 subscribers. And then at the end of this section just casually mentions that they hate women and also they hate gays. Of course they do. I'm not even going to back that up with any sort of evidence. Now, are there MGTOW who hate women? Are there MGTOW who hate gays? Sure. There's going to be people in every group that are going to have their own little things going on. I mean, marriage sucks for everybody. People from all different walks of life, all different ideologies are coming to MGTOW because marriage and relationships suck because of all the gynocentrism. It doesn't mean they just abandon all their beliefs before they discovered this. So if you already hated gays or you already hated women before, realizing how gynocentric society is and how shitty marriage is isn't going to suddenly change you. Now, I believe in something called the 1% rule. 1% of people are batshit crazy. So when you have a group of 100 people, you're going to have at least one person who's batshit crazy. And when you have tens of thousands of people like the MGTOW community on YouTube, you're going to have a few crazy people. I don't care. I don't have to believe in everything every MGTOW believes to consider them my brother. Even people who disagree with me politically or whatever. I don't consider them not real MGTOW because they don't agree with me about everything. It's stupid. It's a stupid argument. Anyway, continuing with the article, she again turns to the Reddit community, which has a whopping 15,000 subscribers. Posts on the Reddit page offer an insight into their world. They range from worrying that future sex bots will be hacked by central government, to encourage men to divorce their wives. They also debate how even men in Hollywood are cuckolded and wronged by women. Now, I myself have made a video talking about how if gynocentrism isn't dealt with, even if we invent sex robots, the gynocentric society will turn that against men. As for encouraging men to divorce their wives, I have never done that. In fact, I've done videos saying don't do that. Do not get married. Please do not get married. But if you already are married, you're kinda screwed. There's really no way in the situation where you win. You need to start making some changes. But don't just serve for a paper so you can go be a MGTOW. It sucks, I realize it. It sucks, I'm sorry. I wish I could help you. I wish I could snap my fingers and turn back time. As for even men in Hollywood being cuckolded and wronged by women, yes, absolutely. How many celebrity marriages do you see with these women marrying these celebrities, divorcing them a few months later, and taking half their shit? What do you call that? What do you call an actor working decades, building up this wealth, through all this successful work he's done, only to give half of it away to some bitch that he married and was only married to for a few months or a few years? And then she just takes half of his wealth that he took decades to build that had nothing to do with her. I mean, the laws in California are even shittier than the laws in other states. So I don't even get this argument. Are they saying that when Hollywood celebrities divorce, that it's not a shit show? That male celebrities who give half their money to women aren't being fucked over? I don't even understand what they're saying. Let us continue. Others discuss the merits of visiting prostitutes and how pop songs are feminist propaganda. The more you scroll, the darker it becomes. Well, you have something against prostitutes? They're at least being honest. I mean, yeah, they're using their sex to get money, but so are all women. Why do you hate prostitutes? You're a misogynist. And as for pop songs being feminist propaganda, yeah, kinda. I mean, you think about the romantic love that most pop songs are talking about. It doesn't really exist in female nature. But anyway, let's see how dark this becomes. Quote, one recent post describes how women fake orgasms often because it makes men more submissive. Another talked of ditching his blue pill friends. Others proudly declare they are still virgins. Oh my god, that got really dark. Holy shit. Holy shit, guys, this is really dark. Women faking orgasms to manipulate men, ditching their blue pill friends because they're fucking pussy betas, and being proud to be a virgin because what, you're supposed to feel ashamed of it? You're supposed to cower and suck your thumb like a baby, like, I'm not a virgin, I'm a big boy. I don't know, this is pretty dark. I don't know if I can keep going. Quote, I want sex and company, but I don't want/can't put in the effort to get it, wrote another user on the MGTOW.com forum. Yeah? Yeah, so? I mean, I don't understand why this is so dark. Yeah, I want sex and company, but I don't want to put forth the effort. And there's a video from No Holds Barred. He was responding to another anti-MGTOW video. I'll link to that in the description. But anyway, he made the point that he could attract a decent woman if he wanted to. The problem is, why would they settle for a guy that demands that they pay for half the date? Why would they settle for a guy who refuses to let her move in so that she can, qualify for common law marriage? Why would she settle for that guy when she can get a guy, maybe not as good, but comparably good, who will just treat her like a goddess? I want the sex and company, but I don't want/can't put in the effort to get it. That's not dark, that's reality. That's the reality of living in a gynocentric society as a man who's aware. I have nothing against women, I don't hate women, but I just can't stand them. I can't work with them. Because in order to have any sort of relationship with them, you have to make too many sacrifices and they're not worth it. The costs far outweigh the benefits. And that's just the way it is. So later on in the article, she talks about the MGTOW level system. Now, I don't believe in the MGTOW level system. I'm not saying it doesn't exist, I'm just saying I don't subscribe to it. To me, I believe MGTOW should be about self-actualization. And how your self-actualization looks may be different than someone else's concept of self-actualization. It may fall in the level system, it may not. But depending on where you fall, based on your own concept of self-actualization, you may be lower, quote-unquote, to someone else. All that matters is you're happy, you're where you want to be. So I'm just going to skip that part if you don't mind. Toward the end of the article, it reads, quote, the origins of MGTOW are unclear. The MGTOW website loftily suggests that their ideals hark back to Schopenhauer, Tesla, Beethoven, Galileo, and even Jesus Christ, and equates it to fire. Quote, MGTOW is not as old as fire, but it's as old as man's first discovery of it. If MGTOW is fire, then perhaps feminism is gasoline, reads the MGTOW.com history page. A more concrete theory is that MGTOW was created by online aliases Solaris and Ragnar in the 2000s, when they penned a manifesto calling for men and women to adhere to traditional gender roles and fight for pared-back government. And while their communities may be virtual, their determination seems very real indeed. Unquote, end of article. So there is something called the MGTOW Manifesto. It's something that happened around 2003. And basically, the MGTOW title came from disaffected MRAs who weren't happy with the direction the men's rights movement was going, and they created MGTOW. A lot of us in the community call this MGTOW 1.0, and it was very traditionalist. It was run by basically people who came from the MRA community. But around 2008-2009, according to Barbarossa, is when MGTOW 2.0 started. And this was led primarily by Barbarossa and Stardust. And they're still around, they're still on YouTube. They have 20,000 plus subscribers, far more than the Reddit MGTOW community. And they're much more representative of what MGTOW is today. Now that doesn't mean that the manifesto didn't happen, it just means it doesn't apply anymore. Now there are people in MGTOW who believe in what the manifesto originally taught, who have kind of a traditionalist bent to them. I don't care. And some people think I do because I talk about patriarchy, but I only talk about it because it's the only viable alternative until we have asexual reproduction. But that's a conversation for another day. So the point of this article, and this is very common, is to paint MGTOW as a bunch of whiny virgins who just can't get laid and that's why they hate women. But despite her proclamation about how dark the MGTOW community is, it's pretty tame. Nothing they said is outlandish. Now maybe I'm just desensitized to it. Maybe this is people are fainting out there from this. Like, oh my god, oh. I don't know. There's nothing in there that's particularly dark. Now, I've talked about taking away women's right to vote. I've talked about getting rid of marital rape laws, making marital rape legal again. That's pretty dark. No mention of that. Come on, guys. What's going on? You're getting lazy. That's what it is.